It's been extremely busy. There's been an awful lot of hard work to do. Obviously, you go into the House of Keys with promises for your electorate, and you try and aim to achieve them. I have achieved a number of them, but I think the biggest thing that I realised going in was, particularly with I think 12 new members, was how little I was fortunate. I'd been in the public sector, a civil servant, most of my life. I was fortunate. I knew the policies, principles, and how to get around the system. And I think that was one of the biggest things I noticed with colleagues that were coming in completely cold of that system, how difficult it was for them. And I know a number of them said it took them, up to 2 years to get to work out what happens in the system, because it is a big engine. It's and there's lots of cogs and they all need to fit together. But certainly I could hit the ground running, I felt, and that's what I did. And I feel that. Certainly with regards to my manifesto pledges, I have achieved a number of them. Obviously, I was given the role of chairman of Isle of Man Post Office, and within my role there, obviously we've had quite big challenges. I said, but my main aim, and the first thing I said when I got to be chair of the post office, whatever changes need to be made, I would make sure there'd be no compulsory redundancies as far as I could, and I would do the changes that were required to make the business financially sustainable for the future. And I think, okay, yes, we've had challenges with regards to strikes, and we've had 2 of them. However, I think we've come out of that the right side. I think we haven't made any redundancies. We've protected as much as we can for the employees, and we were really all we've done is buy out historic allowances that were put in place. But the big change is the pensions, and mostly in the last election, Manx public wanted changes to pensions. I've achieved that in Isle of Man Post Office, and I feel that we're moving forward. Policy needs to be set, and this is what I've been trying to work on, certainly with the policy areas that I'm responsible for, is to make sure it's set beyond elections, because otherwise they're utilised as election tools, and I don't agree with that. I think that's totally unjust to the people that you're representing. So my aim is to make sure that any policies that are implemented go beyond election years, because I think that's then nobody can sort of electioneer on a policy. There's been a lot of changes within housing. Obviously, we've changed the criteria for people to be on housing lists. But I think one of the big achievements is getting the combined housing lists where the local authorities have joined up, and that's helped support the people most in need for housing. So people most in need are actually getting the properties sooner than they perhaps would have, because they've now got the option to be on shared housing waiting lists. Particularly from an Noncurrent point of view, I'm very conscious. I'm trying to get allotments for people in Noncurrent. I've identified a piece of land, and I think this is really helpful for people's social well-being. And there's a lot of elderly people that would love the opportunity to have an allotment, that they haven't got gardens, but they'd like to. And I think it's been, it's sort of one of the things now that people are saying, it helps people to live longer, healthier lives. So I hope that I'll be able to bring that to fruition. I think there is the desperate need for a new primary school in Noncurrent. I've said that numerous times. Health ministers commented on schools on the floor of the House, and each time I've brought up Noncurrent schools got parts of it from the 1800s. What are you doing about it? I think we do need that. I'm also concerned with regards to elderly persons accommodation in Noncurrent, where it was built 30 odd years ago. It's on a hill. There's no bus route. And I do feel that, and I want to work with Noncurrent commissioners on whether we can bring some new schemes forward. I'm arranging for them to see the new scheme down at Claffane, to see what sort of standard of housing can be built now, because Noncurrent hasn't had any new housing for considerable time. With regards to waiting lists, it's disappointing if anybody's waiting for a home and they're in need. But I think this shared housing list is a way forward, and we are doing reviews on the number of units that are required throughout the island. And I think if the most in need and the people that need to be in the properties are in them, there perhaps wouldn't be so much investment required to going forward. But that's work that's ongoing. I'd like to see Noncurrent Stadium and the park area The commissioners did commissioner reports. I contributed to that. I'd like to see some of that work progress. It is the main part of Onchan. So many people have happy memories of Onchan Park Stadium, whether it's stock cars, whether it's the firework displays, and I think I'd like to see something going forward with the stadium.